Hey guys, and we're live. We are 3 seconds in. How's everybody doing tonight? Finally, we live, right? So in this video, you are going to see a portrait drawing. I'm going to teach you guys step by step how to do a portrait of Martin Luther King. Happy Martin Luther King Day. I'm going to show you guys what I have going on. As you can see, I have him all drawn in here. If you guys are new around here, my name is Danielle from Creative Girl of Color. And if you like this sort of content, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications. Everything I'm using in this particular tutorial will be down in the description box below. I have taken the liberty, guys, of... I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I've taken the liberty of already drawing this guy in. And you should already know who he is. Welcome to the first installment of my Black History series, which I will be doing all month long. I'm going to be featuring a new African-American influential person, whether a civil rights leader, a poet, a musical talent, blast from the past, all month long on my channel. I'm going to be going live every week, and tonight is going to be pretty long. It's going to be pretty long, yeah? So make sure you guys get some tea, some wine, water, whatever your drink is, and buckle up. Now, I picked up this beautiful canvas from a local art store. I don't know if you guys are able to get this from a Michael's or not, but I actually picked this up from my local art store. It is a beautiful canvas. Let me show you guys exactly what it is, the dimensions, in case you want to go to your local art store and pick one up for yourself. I have Frederick's. It is so beautiful. It is oval. Everybody's kind of doing Martin Luther King because it is Martin Luther King Day. So I wanted to kind of switch it up and make it different because, you know, I got to be extra. I got to be over the top. So I definitely wanted to kind of switch it up and make it a little different this time. It is a Frederick's Pure Cotton Duck Canvas. It is an oval orientation. Yes, yes, and yes. And if you guys are just tuning in, hello, and comment below and let me know whether you can actually hear me, whether you can see everything okay, before I actually do too much more proceeding. But hopefully you can see me okay. I'm still kind of new to this live thing on YouTube, so hopefully you guys are not too overwhelmed. Okay, so this is an 8x10, yeah? This is an 8x10 oval canvas. It has an acrylic prime surface. It is by Frederick's. Frederick's makes beautiful canvases. If you guys at home don't happen to have a oval canvas, you can also do this on a square, regular canvas. You can do it on a bigger orientation, whatever it is that you feel like you want to do. I got the reference photo. I pulled the reference photo basically off of Google because at this point it is public domain. He's an influential civil rights leader, so his images are all over the place and everybody's painting him at this point. So I think I would feel pretty comfortable as far as copyright law goes with you guys probably pulling this up off of Google. Usually I would not recommend that you pull things off of Google and paint them or reproduce them because it is copyright. It can have copyright infringement implications. Yes. So hey guys, hey lady. Okay, let me see what you're saying so I know whether you can hear me or not. You're saying let me log in so I can see what you guys are saying. Again, all the materials I'm using. I didn't actually list the colors. I probably should have listed the colors for you guys so that you can actually see exactly what colors I'm using. It's going to be a lot of skin tones in this particular tutorial. So if you guys are new to skin tones, especially African American skin tones, I will refer back to my color theory video so that you can get more familiar with mixing colors and the different colors. Let's see. Okay, good. Carlotta, thank you so much for tuning in. Good. All right, we getting feedback. Let me turn that down. You guys don't want to hear that. Hey, okay, so good. You guys can really see me and hear me good, so that's great. I'm super excited about that. Okay, so as you can see, I've already put in my image, and he is pretty much ready to roll. I wish I was able to kind of rotate this because somehow YouTube has decided that I can't rotate. There's no rotating for you, woman. Matter of fact, let me try to zoom in so you guys can kind of see a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Great, so that's a better orientation. So as you can see, I did my image last night because I didn't want to waste too much time and bore you guys to death. But it's going to be a pretty much long tutorial. So hopefully you guys have all your materials. You can actually use paper if you want to use paper. This is on an 8x10, so but you can go up a size if you want to go up a size. You can do all of those things. All right, now let me get into my colors because I think I've done quite enough talking. If you guys have any questions, I will try to answer you as much as possible during the process. Let me see if it will actually let me rotate without giving me like a headache. See, now I'm not getting anything right there. Yeah, now it's just lopsided. Okay. Let's turn it back to what it was. Let me not bother it. Okay, so what I did was last night I actually drew out my image and I drew out a little frame around the perimeter because I wanted to give it a little design since it is an oval canvas and it's like super cute. So definitely I wanted to do that. Yes. So let me get out my colors. I'm using a regular paper plate because I don't want to use my palette. And you guys can use a regular paper plate if you want to use a regular paper plate. Let me show you what my colors are and what I'm using them for. So let's put out the colors. I have Liquitex Gold. I'm using a lot of Liquitex because that's my favorite brand, but you guys can use any acrylic paint you want to use because this is an acrylic tutorial. Some of it is transferable over to the oils. So I have gold. I have Naples yellow. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's a very good yellow. It is a kind of like a cooler yellow. If you guys are familiar with cools and warms. I have yellow ochre, which in this case I'm using Grumbacher acrylics. Okay. So, and I have Grumbacher again. This is mixing white. But if you don't have mixing white, you can also use a unbleached titanium, because that has somewhat of a tint to it. So it will give you kind of similar. Now with skin tones, you don't want to use straight up white, especially in African American skin tones, because it will totally blow the skin tone out altogether. And I have Liquitex Heavy Body Acrylic. This is a professional brand. It is not actually a student grade. Those previous ones that I show you are student grade. And this is Indian yellow, one of my favorite yellows. I may not use that, but I just want to have it out just in case. I'm also using burnt umber. And I'm using burnt umber and burnt sienna, right? Okay, so burnt umber and burnt sienna. You guys can take a screenshot of that if you want to pick that up. Burnt umber and burnt sienna is a professional paint. It is by Golden, which is a top of the line acrylic brand. It is a professional grade brand, meaning it has high pigments. It is luscious and beautiful. It is archival. It is super awesome, right? So that's a definite. And it is open. Open meaning for skin tones, I would definitely recommend an open one, because acrylics do not like to blend. They have a really hard time blending. That's why majority of the time when I do use acrylics, I use it for you know, like regular stuff, landscapes, flowers, plants, you know, things of that sort. I try not to use too much acrylics when it comes to portraits. But when I do actually use acrylics for portraits, I utilize the Open brand, because open means that it takes quite a long time to dry. I would say you get probably a 30-minute working time, versus a regular acrylic is pretty much drying, like as you're mixing your colors, they're pretty much drying out before you can even say boo. Okay? So yeah, it's absolutely insane why they dry out so quickly. But I mean, they serve their purpose. Every medium has its purpose, right? But I would definitely recommend these. I have a whole set of these. I didn't actually link these below, but I will link them below if you guys are interested in learning more about them. But these are really good. They you know, they're not oils, but they are an acrylic, you know, alternative if you don't want to use oils and you want to still have time to kind of blend your colors in and stuff like that. So I'm using burnt umber and burnt sienna with the open. Those are going to be a big baseline for me. And I'm also going to paint in this background, right? Because he has a background. Hopefully you guys can see it. He has a background around him. You can see the background around him. And with the background around him, I'm going to actually paint in the sky and some clouds with that. So I'm going to use ultramarine blue. And this is another different acrylic brand. It doesn't really matter, like I said before, what type of brand you use. So ultramarine blue. I don't know what this is. This is kind of a convenience color. You can actually kind of sort of mix this color if you use like phthalo blue, yellow, and a little bit of white. You could probably mix this color up really good. This is like a turquoisey color, and you can buy this in any brand, but I like Liquitex, so I'm going with the Liquitex. Yes, yes, and yes. And last but not least, yeah, I have, like I said, unbleached titanium. Okay, I'm using unbleached titanium. This is a good mixing color. It is a good color to add if you want to lighten up your skin tone. If you don't want to totally blow out the color, you definitely want to get you some unbleached titanium. I love this, especially for African American skin tones, yeah? And, oh, I forgot. I'm also using magenta. So it's many, many different. Why I'm using so many colors? Because when it comes to portraits, in order to make it look 3D, you need to have a variety of different variations of color to make things look 3D and pop. So these are all going to be ingredients. This is part of my recipe. But again, everybody has their own recipe when it comes to skin tones. And if you're a beginner, as you get more and more into it, you will start to notice that you're going to adapt your own like order of operations, and you're going to be mixing your colors as you see fit, and you're going to tweak your recipes to get the look that you want. Again, it doesn't matter what type of brand you use. Any magenta will do. Possibly using purple. It's a possibility I'm going to be using purple deep violet. In this case, I'm using deep violet. And, oh, okay. And of course, you got to have a little black in there, right? Now, I don't usually use too much black for skin tones, but I am going to need it as like a mixture color to get me like different grays that may come up. Okay, so this is a heavy body Liquitex. This is Mars black, but you can use any black. There's many, many different blacks. Ivory black, carbon black, Mars black, lamp black. There's so many different black. So you can definitely use the different blacks. It really doesn't matter. It's a great thing. So I'm going to use this for mostly mixing my grays, right? And I have titanium white. This is another brand that I like to use. I love this brand. And it's kind of hard to get this a size container or this type of container at your regular Michael's or any craft store. You might be able to find it at your specialty art stores along with the Frederick canvases. Again, I don't know if they have the oval Frederick canvases on Amazon. I will look it up for you guys after this video is over, and we'll kind of see if that is what it is, if I can actually find it. But this is titanium white. I'm just going to be using this as for extreme highlights and to mix my grays and things like that. I'm not going to be using this, like, especially for African American skin tones, you would not be using full-blown white. Yeah? Okay. Now, let's get into my brushes. What am I using for brushes? What am I using? Yeah? Comment down below and let me know, guys, what type of Black history person, what type of influential African American person you would like to see going forward for the next month in my Black history series. And I will try to see if I can accommodate you guys. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so this is one of my favorite brushes. I might use this. I probably will use this. This is a number 20. Hopefully you can see it. So this is a number 20 Ruby Satin Silver. I got this from thebrushguys.com. And that's where I buy most of my brushes because I like good quality brushes. I would really encourage you guys to invest in some quality brushes because quality brushes will not only give you good results, but they will last you quite a long time and you won't have to keep buying. A good quality brush goes a long way. So this is a number 20. I'm going to be using that. Possibly, this is my favorite brand. This is an economy brand. And these are pretty good brushes for like mad cheap. These are like $2.99. Like, and you can actually get these in Michael's. But in my case, I actually bought these from the Brush Guys because I like a heavier filament, right? I like for my filaments, meaning the hairs in the brush, I like for them to be really give me some spring and some kick. Yeah, like I love that. I like for it to be like a thick filament. I don't like it to be like a flimsy brush and I gotta be like struggling for days to like push the paint around. So this is a number 10. That's a round. Again, here's my good brush. This is a 3/8 Ruby Satin Silver. Okay, Ruby Satin Silver. This is an angle brush. It's good for getting in between those little, you know, da-da-da-das. Getting in between those little spaces that are not actually accommodating. You also have my regular flat brush. This is a number 16. And then I have like some detail brushes. This is actually, like I said, this is a new brush. I like this brush. This is from the Art Sherpa brand. She's an artist also. She has her own brand of brushes. I actually love her brushes a lot. So I buy a lot of brushes from her because she has very good quality brushes. And this is a number 6. I don't think you can see it, but it's a number 6 filbert. Filberts are something like a flat, but they have a tapered kind of tip. Like, you know, when you get your nails done and it like it has like a coffin style shape of a nail. That's how this brush is kind of shaped. And it's really good. Like, you can use this for a multitude of different activities. And I have a number 6 in that one, as well as sorry guys, I have a number 6 in that one, as well as a number 8. I have a number 6 and a number 8 in the filbert. Okay. Alright. So that pretty much covers that. That gets it all together, yeah? Hopefully you guys are totally familiar with Martin Luther King. He is an influential civil rights leader. He was part of it. He was an influential patron, part of the Montgomery bus boycott. He was assassinated on April the 4th. That's the day after my birthday. I think 1965, 1968. You guys can correct me down in the comments. And he was the person that basically made it where me and you today can have free civil rights out here to conduct things as we please, for me to be able to have a YouTube and bring this to the world and show you guys all about him, celebrate him today, because today is all about Martin Luther King. All over the world, all over the country, people are enjoying the day off because of all the strives and the things that he's done throughout his lifetime to uplift African American people and basically bring humanity back to the world. I mean, we don't know, you know, humanity ain't doing that well now, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, but still, you know, it is what it is. Okay. Okay, so let's get into it here. I'm going to put out my colors. And I would recommend that you guys get a palette knife as well. Invest in a palette knife because your palette knife is going to save your brushes from being damaged. Oh, I have some gold paint, but I'm only using that gold paint for the frame around the perimeter of. Ooh, and it would be nice to kind of clean your cavity of your paint off too, right? That would be nice to be clean and nice and not be like crazy over here. Because now I have like paint all over the place. Keep some paper towels near your desk. I also have a rag that I usually keep by my desk as well to clean off my brushes in between mixing colors. Where did it go? All right. Now that that's done, let me put out that color. I'm just going to put it out in a round formation. Get in formation. Yes. That's Naples yellow, yellow ochre. Putting out quite a bit of yellow ochre because I'm going to use a lot of yellow ochre. And I am putting out unbleached titanium. And it's a good thing to kind of clean off your caps because this is really insane. It's insanity. All right. Burnt sienna. I need to stop playing around. I need to stop playing around. That's my open golden, which is my favorite. Ow. Can't even open these things. Burnt sienna. You want to put out quite a bit because you're going to take some time to kind of mix these things in and get your laugh together. I'm going to use one plate for my kind of skin tone portrait. Now, oh damn. How did I forget about that? I usually use acrylic glazing liquid because that kind of helps with the blending. But God knows, for some reason, I forgot to actually bring that to my section right now. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. You guys should talk down in the comments. Putting out some more burnt umber. You can never have enough burnt umber, I'll tell you that. Burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre. You can never have enough of that. Oh, my magenta. Magenta. Can't forget about that. I don't know why I put all that magenta out. I'm bugging out. Why I put out all that magenta? Because that's going to dry up. So I would suggest you also get a little spritz bottle. And you spray. I'm going to spray this down a little bit. Yeah? Because that'll prevent your stuff from kind of drying up on your palette. If you don't have the Stay Wet palette. I have the Stay Wet palette, but I'm not using it today. So I'm getting a little spritz bottle. You can buy these anywhere. Dollar store. Anywhere. It doesn't really matter. It's not that serious, buddy. It's not that serious. What else? What else? I would have put these things out on my palette before you guys came, but As you know, acrylics dry very quickly, and I don't want to put my paint out before it's time. So, and then this is a good opportunity for you guys to kind of get a bird's eye view as to what is going on here. I'm also going to put out some zinc white. This is like a mixing white. It's a transparent white. It's not titanium white. It is great for skin tones. Ooh. And that looks like cottage cheese. What's really good? I don't like how that looks. So I might not be able to use that. Let me be quite mysterious. Okay. Looks like mystery cheese. If you see that your paint starts to curdle, that means it is no good. It's a no-go. I mean, you might be able to kind of fix it up. I'm going to put some regular burnt sienna out too. This is just regular acrylic. And I'm going to mix it in with my open. Because your opens could be kind of really thin. Alright, now that we mix that, let me put that over there. And let me put a separate palette for my background. Got some ultramarine blue. A little bit of turquoise in my life. I need a little bit of turquoise in my life. What do you guys think? Turquoise. That's how you're supposed to say it, you know. Turquoise in my life. Little bit of turquoise. Okay, and then I'm going to put out phthalo blue. Phthalo blue. I actually got a large phthalo blue. I have a lot of phthalo blue now. Let's tell you the caveat. There's different blues, right? The caveat with phthalo blue is that phthalo blue is extremely strong. It is extremely strong. It is insanely small. I mean, insanely small. Insanely strong. And you only need very little bit. Very little bit. Like, you really don't want to get insane with this phthalo blue because it will overpower every color that you have, including all of the quinacridone, magenta, quinacridone reds. Those are very strong colors. Phthalo blue as well as phthalo green. Phthalo green, those are all very strong, very strong. Matter of fact, I'm going to put out a little phthalo green too. So you only need very little bit. Like, I didn't even need that much phthalo blue, but I was trying to be extra, okay? And we don't need to be that extra. Like, calm down. Calm down, girl. Alright. I'm also going to spray this one also because... Why? I don't want it to dry up. I want to save my paint. So I'm going to make sure. And this is because I don't have my glazing liquid either. So, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so let's start with our background. I'm going to start with the sky. And then I'm going to move on to his eyes. I'm not going to put out any black yet. I'm going to put out paint as I need it because, like I said, acrylic dries very quickly. And you will end up looking crazy. Alright. Let's see what I want to use. I'm actually going to use... Let me move this microphone because it's in my way. Get out of the way, microphone. Come on. I'm trying not to, Sorry, guys. I'm taking you guys on a shaky trip here. Alright. Now. Got my little water glass. You want to get your... You want to get your brush wet prior. For you beginners, you know, some of you may not be beginners. You already know this, right? You should get your brush wet prior to going in with the paints. Wipe off the excess in a towel or in my case, my finger. Oh, and palette knife. I don't have the proper palette knife, so I'm going to use this one to mix me up a color. Okay, so my favorite mixture is, this is all ultramarine right here, right? Straight out of the tube. And I'm going to get a little bit, I don't even want as much as I want with the phthalo. I actually need, because this one is absolutely horrible. I hate this palette knife. This palette knife, I don't even know what is the purpose of it. It came in a set, so I don't even know what is the purpose of this palette knife. It's ridiculous. Alright. Sorry, I had to get a different palette knife. Alright, so I'm going to thoroughly mix this up. We're going to do about, I would say 80 to 90% phthalo blue. Ultramarine. Ultramarine is a cool blue. And probably 10% phthalo because like I said, it's really... I'm going to thoroughly mix this in. And you may hear the sounds of my child in the background having a breakdown. So don't worry about that. For those of you who have children, you know what it is, okay? I'm gonna mix a little white in there because I didn't get no white yet. And I'm going to slowly add this white in there. You don't want to get out of hand with this white, right? We just want like a blue background, a blue sky. That's all I want to get behind him is a blue sky. And see, that's a nice pretty color that you get with that white. The nice pretty blue. Now you can warm it up, desaturate it as you see fit. All right. That's too much phthalo. I'm gonna add a little more ultramarine. Take your time with these mixes. It's not like a marathon, you know what I'm saying? You want to slowly add white in, slowly add phthalo in to get the proper mixture that you want. This is going to be your painting. If you're doing this at home and you're following along with me, tag me on Instagram so I can see. So I want to see what you guys are doing. If you guys are doing a tutorial, tag me on Instagram. Hashtag Creative Girls of Color. Creative Girls with the S at the end of girls. Tag me in it. Tag me, baby. Alright, so I mixed it all together. Now, we all know that the complement for blue is orange. So if you want to make this a desaturated, like grayed out blue, you could actually add a little bit of orange to it, and that'll tone it down a little bit. Or you can actually add a little bit of, actually you could add a little bit of red to this, and that'll tone it down also, which I think I'm going to do. And in this case, I don't have any red, so I'm going to get a little hint of magenta. Like, you see how much that magenta is? I only got a little bit of that magenta right there. Very low. And I'm going to actually wipe some of that off. I'm going to add a little magenta to this. And that's going to tone it down a little bit. So it's not like a full-blown bright blue. That's going to like be on the verge of turning it purple a little bit. Yeah? Alright, I wiped off my palette knife. My brush is pretty wet. So let me get into my blue here. This is going to go pretty fast. If you need me to slow down, let me know. Because sometimes I don't be, I just mix. Get a little bit on my brush. Little bitty on my brush. And I'm just going to start painting in around him. Now the good thing about acrylics is that, excuse me? Yeah. The good thing about acrylics is that if you don't like something, you can actually alter it. I ain't got no pork and beans left anyway. All I got is regular beans. You can actually turn around and actually paint over this if you wanted to. Okay, well, Franklin's gonna be ready at 6:35. And see, the thing I like about these brushes is even though it's a filbert, right? Now that blue is actually going to fade into the background. It is going to make it seem like it is a background. It is in the background. I'm going to get a little bit of yellow ochre. When you add a little bit of yellow ochre to it, it's going to turn a little bit green. And that's okay if it turns a little bit of green. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to add a little bit of blue to it if it turns green. And then I'm going to get a blue-green, right? Because that's what I want. I'm going to bring that color right up under there. And I'm actually going to add some white to it because it's a little bit too dark for me. Yeah, Al. I But you guys at home can put whatever you want in the background. If you don't want to use this blue-green mixture, you don't have to use that blue-green mixture. You can do whatever you like. It's your world. I'm just teaching you how to do it, yeah? But you can do it however you like. I don't know what is going on, whether I'm digging that color or not. I'm just getting more blue paint over here. And it's still kind of mixing in with that blue-green. Again, you got to take your time with this because it's a it's not a marathon, it's not a race. If you want it to look good, you got to add a lot of layers and you got to take your time. In this case, I want him to look good. Kind of using my finger, which I shouldn't be doing, to wipe off that excess. And I don't know what is going on there. So look at that. This part dried already. But what I'm going to do, since it tried to dry up on me, acrylics be bugging, I swear. Acrylics is like a temperamental, like, you know, one of those temperamental partners that you love and you're like, what is your problem? Why did you do that? That's just the beast of acrylics, yeah? This is how they operate. That is how they operate. And I'm just going around with this color. And again, you got to do layers. So towards the end of this tutorial, I very well might end up changing this background if I don't like it. If I'm not feeling it, I might change it. How about that? That's the only thing I like about acrylics, because you can do that. You can change things as you see fit. I just added some more white to that blue. I'm being careful not to get into the edges of the portrait because it'll be a headache to try to get it out when I'm ready to go in and actually paint him. It will be an absolute headache. Oh no. Okay, guys, so hopefully you guys can actually see this. I'm just adjusting it for you. Okay, so I'm gonna actually end up having to put my phone on the charger because it wants to start bugging out. Again, I'm using the same blue color. Now, you can, like I said, you can do whatever you want at home with the same tutorial. You can do it however you please at home to make it easier for you and much more of a pleasurable experience. Never let the paint dry up on your brush, so you want to always constantly be wiping off your brush and washing it off in between. You guys are not going to be able to see that part, but that's what I'm doing without you guys actually seeing it. And I'm going to plug my charger in, so hold on. Alright, here we go. Sorry. Because the charger is bugging. Alright, now let me go into, I'm still going to spray my palette also. Let me spray my palette. So that my palette does not dry up on me. And I'm actually going to switch over to a thinner brush. Because I need a thinner brush. I need something thinner in my life. We all need to be thinner in our lives, right? That would be wonderful. Okay. A thinner brush. And of course, Murphy's Law. Did I not bring the thinner brush over here? No, of course not. Of course not. Why would I? Alright, hold on, guys. Now remember, when you're doing acrylics, you want to go at least, you want to lighten it up or darken it up at least 2 or 3 values lighter, because as it dries, it darkens. So that's why you always have to end up going in layering, because you're as it dries, your color's starting to get darker and you're wondering why. Because that's just the nature of the beast. Hold on a minute. Let me grab my I'm sorry. I got to grab my other brush, cuz there's no way in poppycock. Wait, let me see. Maybe I have another brush right here. This always happens, you know that? This always happens. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Wait a minute. I think I have another brush right here. Okay, I may not have to get up. That's exciting. All right, good. Because I may not have to get up. Alright, good. So I found a round brush. I'm going to be using that Simply Simmons number 4. Because I'm going to start on his eyes. Yes. Yes. Ooh. Yes, yes, and yes. And I'm going to put out some, let's see. See, this thing is dry. Almost dry already. So that I can actually touch it. That's how fast acrylics dry. I'm going to add a little black to my palette. And I'm actually going to use this for the eyes. I'm going to add a little black to the palette. I'm going to get very little black. You don't need a lot. And that's actually mixed in there a little bit with a little bit of blue. Which as you start to progress down, you'll learn that I just want like a mid-tone gray. So that's pretty much good for me. That mid-tone gray. That's all I need is that mid-tone gray because I want to start his eyes. And this is a lot of detail. So let me put this up a little bit. So you guys can see it. Alright, so let's start in the inner eye here, yeah? I'm just using this to go into the sclera. Into the sclera. And I'm going to actually go in because when I actually put in a portrait, I don't want to see the whites of the eyes. If I leave the eyes till last, it'll be like some creepy, weird type of thing going on and just be like a white eyeball, a white carcass of an eye. And you're like, oh my God, if you don't stop looking at me. So I'm just filling this in at this point. To get it precise as I can, yes? And I'm going to go in on top. Now, the thing about acrylics is that basically acrylics are light to dark. I mean dark to light. So you put down your dark base and then you can go on top with a lighter base. Right? So that's what I'm doing here. And since I'm doing a lot of detail, let me try to zoom in for you guys too. Because it looks like it's close on my end, but it's really not. Okay, great. Now I don't have to do too much lifting. Now once I get this dark base in, now the sclera of the eye is not white. I know people think like the sclera of the eye, the white part of the eye is not actually white. It is a mixture of like tans and all these different colors and stuff like that. Like unbleached titanium would be an actual great thing that you could use, right? Unbleached titanium will be great to use for the sclera of the eye because it's not white. Nobody wants no white eyeball. And I'm only going to put that to unbleached titanium. Right here. Right on the edges by the pupil. I'm going to play the edges here. Play it, play it. Watch it, look it, love it. Yeah? And you see it'll even blend in there. And you see how I toned down that dark gray. You want to have layers, lots of layers. That's the secret to having realism, is having lots and lots of layers, pretty much. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm carefully going into the eye. I only want that unbleached titanium to be right around the edges of the sclera. Again, I'm going to have to do several layers because this is acrylic. If it was oil, I could have just went in with the value I needed and bam, that would have been it. But in this case, acrylics want to be temperamental. So, it is what it is, right? Alright, now for the pupil of the eyeball, I'm going to get into burnt sienna, burnt umber. Because his eyes, even though they're like a dark brown, you know, they're not black. And I'm going to mix very little hint. Actually, if you want to make a chromatic black, meaning it's not really black, but it looks black, right? If you actually want to mix a chromatic black, you could actually mix in a little bit of ultramarine blue, and that will darken up that value for you a lot, right? So I'm mixing in a little bit of ultramarine blue, or you could even put phthalo blue. That'll darken it up even more. It'll darken it up so much it'll look black, but it really isn't. And that gives you a richer value versus you just adding straight up black out of the tube, because straight up black out of the tube is going to make your eyeballs look flat and weird, and nobody wants that, right? Hopefully you don't want that. I mean, if that's the look you're going for, then that's fine, but you know, I'm hoping you guys are not wanting that. I really am. So I'm just slowly adding in. You don't want to add in a bunch of ultramarine blue because that'll turn it totally black. See, even on camera it's looking black, but it really isn't. Now I'm just going in a circular motion. And putting in because this is a round brush, that helps me out a lot. And remember, you got to work quickly because acrylics are temperamental. So I wiped off my brush a little bit so I can kind of smooth out this weird eyeball. And I'm still going to go back in. You could actually cut that value down if you go back in and you add a little more titanium, unbleached titanium. So go back in and you could actually push that value back if you happen to kind of color out of the line, so to speak. You can actually go back in. No, they're up there in a bag on the floor. And push that value back. But again, things are going to look weird until they don't. So you got to just keep going. That's the name of the game. I could spend several hours on eyes and any other aspect of the portrait, because that's what makes things look realistic. When you spend the time and you go that extra mile that nobody else is pretty much doing. I'm going to go back in and I'm actually going to lift this up a little bit because I need to be able to see. Okay, so I can see a little bit better now. Because at that angle was a weird angle. And remember, eyeballs are round. They are not ovals. So think about that when you're doing it. And again, I'm just blocking in the eye, meaning, let me look at this. I'm just blocking in his eyes. Meaning this is the first layer. I'm going to go back in again. And it's going to be several layers. Several layers, peeps. Several layers. So I hope you guys are prepared. Alrighty then. He's starting to look like a little something. Yeah? Starting to look crazy in the eye. Right, Dr. Martin Luther King? He's starting to look crazy in the eye right now, but we love you. So we're going to deal with it. Alright, so eyes are kind of blocked in. Kind of, sort of. Again, you can always go back if you're feeling some type of way about the eyeball. You can always go back and you can adjust. Take some time and you can adjust your values. And it's not a big deal. It's really not. I'm actually taking this and there we go. I'm actually pushing that value back because I didn't like how unround that was. It was quite unround. It was quite unround. It was quite unruly. I was like, oh hell no. No, we don't like that. It looks quite hideous. It's looking quite hideous. Alright? Quite hideous. Alright. Now, moving on. Let's move on to the rest of the eye. Because that's pretty much blocked in. I'm feeling kind of happy with how that looks. At least his eyeball's blocked in at this point. And he's not looking insane. Yeah? What do you guys think down in the comments? Are you guys following along? Now, if you're new around here, make sure you guys subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell for all notifications. Like this video, save it to your playlist because it's going to be a pretty long tutorial. So I hope you guys are prepared. I hope you got your cookies and candies and your dinner made and everybody's situated. All right, now for his skin tone, I'm going to start the eyes, but I'm going to start the upper lid and lower lids here. And then I'm going to start blocking in as I see fit. And then I'm going to go back to the background to give that. I'm going to jump around to kind of give things a chance to dry. Where is it? Where is it? I'm switching my brush out. And I'm going to my number. I think it's a number 6. It looks like a number 6 to me. I think it is. Oh no, I'm just switching over to my filbert. And I'm going to mix in. Again, I told you guys not to mix with your brush, but you know what? Screw it. We're going to throw caution to the wind. Alright? Alright, so burnt sienna, burnt umber, equal parts, burnt sienna, burnt umber. Spray your palette if you feel like you need to spray your palette. He's like a brown skin tone, da. Refer to your reference photos so that you can be accurate in where is the different variations of skin tone, where things are. I think I posted the reference photo. I don't know. But you can actually Google it also if you want to see exactly what his skin tone looks like. And I'm going to add a hint. Like, I don't even know. Like, if you guys can see that. But very little, okay? Very little of magenta. Like, not even a smidge. Alright? To kind of give it like some sauciness. Magenta. And like I said, he's a little brown skin. And I'm going to add in some yellow ochre. A dab of yellow ochre. This is like a recipe. You cooking at home. You add a dash of this and a dash of that. You put it in the oven for this amount. Right? You do the same thing with a skin tone. You want to worry about your temperature, the amount of things that you put in things. So again, 50% burnt umber, 50% burnt sienna. I put probably 25% yellow ochre because yellow ochre is very powerful and it will bump your value up a lot. And he is kind of like a brown skin, right? So now I'm going to, okay, I got magenta in there also. And I kind of like that value a little bit. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. But I need a darker value, right? Value meaning shade. So I'm going to go over here in a different pile. And I'm going to just do burnt sienna. A little bit of magenta. Because that magenta gives it a little richness. A little bit of yellow ochre. Very little. Don't add a lot because I don't want to, I want this to be dark. Right? We want that value to be dark. So, and because you got to have shadows. So you have shadows. Here's how the shades go, right? You have shadows, midtones, you have highlights, and then you have extreme highlights. So you should have at least 4 values at the very least on your palette, guys. At least 4 values. You should have shadow, midtone, highlight, extreme highlights, plus any, intermediate midtones, different variations. Now, if you want to get real fancy and you're going to add different colors, then you really want to have a lot of different variations on your palette. Okay. Now I feel like I need something darker. So to make this darker, remember what we said before, I'm going to add a smidge ultramarine blue. Because I want this to be real dark, because in some cases, yeah. Matter of fact, let me just put it over here. We're going to do a separate pile again, guys. Separate pile again. And look at that. Look how that thing just turned straight up black. That's how you get your monochromatic black. Straight up black here. Okay? But I don't want it to be straight up black. So I'm going to add some burnt sienna to it. That'll bring it back to life, back to the brown side of things. And it's not going to be straight up black. I'm going to add a little more burnt sienna. And even though it still looks really dark, you still have a lot of good color. And I'm going to add a hint of magenta. Okay? So as you can see, we have our 3 different piles already, right? If you really look at it, we have 3 different piles here. Okay? Now, if you want to lighten this, right? Because that's where you get into the second variation, where you get into our highlight. Here's how you can bump your value up and make things lighter by adding yellow, or you add unbleached titanium. Okay? So I'm going to add a little bit of unbleached titanium to the values I already have on my palette, which by default will give me a lighter tone. Lighter tone is my friend. See? See that lighter tone I just got? Because I added a little bit of unbleached titanium to my burnt sienna mix. And I'm going to add a little bit of, I just added a little more burnt sienna from the pile, just to make it a little more browner. Because brown is our friend. Brown is our friend. Now, if I wanted it a little more yellow, now this is a cooler tone of brown. You see that? It's a very much cooler tone of brown. And if I want to warm it up, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre to it. This is how you get your variations, guys. Okay? I know it's tedious. There's a lot going on. But this is how, unfortunately, this is how you get your variations. You can't really cut no corners when it comes to doing skin tones because, unfortunately, when you cut corners, your portraits come out looking flat, distorted, and weird. Right? You gotta have different variations of color. Color is our friend. Right? We love color here on this channel. Color is my favorite. I added a little bit of burnt umber to it as well. You can bump these values up and down. What is the complement to yellow? The complement to yellow is blue, right? I mean purple. Sorry. The complement to yellow is purple. So if you went ahead and added a little bit of purple to this, you could actually desaturate this yellow and bring it down a notch. So really study your color theory so that you can know how to desaturate and saturate colors. Okay? Now, play around with these mixtures at home to see if you're feeling the mixture. You know, you can make adjustments as you see fit. Now I want to make, I need an even lighter version of this. So I'm actually going to add a lighter version right here. This is for my light parts of his face, like maybe his cheekbones, brow bones, stuff like that. That's and his chin bone will probably have a lot of highlight on it. That's what you would think about when you're doing that. Cheekbones. You like my cheekbones? Alright, now I've added a little smidge of Naples yellow to warm it up. Man, a little smidge of Naples yellow to these things to warm them up. Alright, now I kind of want like a pinkish tone also. I know this is tedious, guys, but you gotta, you know, it just has to be done. I'm sorry, we can't avoid it. No, we can't avoid it. I know y'all like, oh my God, how much mixing is going on? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, okay? But I'm sorry, we can't. We can't cut any corners. I don't cut any corners when it comes to this. I just don't. Just the way it is, baby. Now this one, I added a little bit of white. Yeah. I added a lot of white. I actually added straight up white to that. Now that's going to be our extreme highlights. But even your extreme highlights, remember we got to go, when you dealing with acrylics, you got to take your value up 2 or 3 more values higher than you would normally do it. Why? Because with acrylics, I added a little bit of Naples yellow to that white. With acrylics, they dry darker, so there we go, straight up white right there. But it still has a little bit of color to it. Still has a little bit of color. Colors. Anybody watch that movie? I think that was a movie, or was that a show? I don't know. Alright, I'm spraying it down. Spray it down, peeps. You know why? Because why? The darn acrylic wants to dry up on me already. It's trying. It's trying it. Okay? It's trying it, but no. Alright. Now. What did I do with... Alright, I'm referring to my reference photo. I'm looking at my reference photo. I have it right here beside my palette so I know where things go. Yeah? Okay? And you guys can just watch me as I go. Now, remember, you got to work fast. Why? And you want to work in sections. And you're going to blend as you go because, ooh, I got something on my thing. You want to blend as you go because, these darn acrylics, I swear to God, they be doing what they want to do. So you gotta blend. You gotta blend it out. Blend it out. You gotta highlight right here on the edge here. Now remember, these things are in different planes of his face. This is above the brow bone. This is on the side of his face. So I'm gonna put my kind of like my mid to lightest value over here. Okay, this is going to indicate that he is in the sun, basking in the sun like the wonderful man that he is. And of course, with acrylics, you can always adjust this as you see fit. Again, work quickly. Work quickly. We're going to go to our next value. Okay? I'm going to go one value down right here. Okay? This is one value down. Remember, we're going to put them together like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay? And even this is a little bit, I think this is a little bit too, now if you feel like a value is too light, too dark, add a little bit of unbleached titanium with it. That will lighten it up a little bit, or either add a little bit of yellow. Never add straight up white because that's just going to blow the whole thing out. And nobody wants that. I'm actually grabbing some unbleached titanium. I'm going right between those two values and I'm blending that out. Like, I would even recommend that you guys get a brush. Get a clean brush and kind of do this. I'm kind of blending some of that value into that lighter color. You see how we starting to get like a, somewhat of a better transition. Now remember, you have to keep going. We have a little bit of a lighter, warmer thing going on here. So let me get into my warms. Right? This is a little warmer, so I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. Right? A little more yellow. Now, remember, acrylics dry quick. So I'm going to wipe off my brush. And I'm going to actually go in with a dry brush and try to deal with the temperamental acrylics. Okay? You want to blend out these edges. Why? If you don't blend these edges out, these things will become hard. You will get a hardcore edge. And don't be afraid, right? Don't be afraid. I'm getting some of this value up in the hairline because remember, the hairline is going to be always a little darker than the rest of the face. I don't know why. Don't ask me. Don't ask me because I don't know. That's the laws of it's the law, okay? It's the law of anatomy. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Again, this is going to look real rough. Now I'm switching back to my other brush. I don't know what to tell you because that's just the way anatomy is, okay? Now, I'm still trying not to get this value all up in there in my other part. And then I'm still kind of going, stroking in one direction because I don't want this to, when it dries, it's going to look really streaky. Ooh, oh no. Oh Lord. I'm basically putting my damn reference photo all up in the paint. All up in the paint. Oh, hell no. Oh, wait. Okay. Alright, I'll put you over there. You can stare at me from there. Okay. Now. You could also take a little bit of water if you feel like things starting to drag and starting to look weird. Take a little bit of water and actually go in. I'm smoothing these things out because as this dries, it's going to look crazy. Now you want to go patch by patch. He has a darker patch. And I'm only getting a little bit on my brush. He has a darker patch right up here. Right? A little bit dark right up here. Since he has a little, now I'm going in that one stroke here. Because acrylics you will see those brush strokes. And I'm still working quickly. Even though I have a little bit of an open working time because of the open acrylics. Switching my brush over. And I'm actually going to wash this brush out. Remember not to let any acrylics now I'm going right between those different values and I'm smoothing it out. Smoothing it out. So it looks like they kind of go together, right? Kind of, sort of. Kind of, sort of. Now we're getting to the side of the face. So I'm going to use my brush and go in that motion of the side of the face, right? That's what we want to do. Again, this is the blocking in stage, so you are not going, you may not get the results you want in the first stages. So be patient and keep going. It always looks like crap before it looks good. Especially with acrylics. Like, acrylics be doing extra. So I'm kind of trying to smooth out my brush strokes because I hate that. And I'm like OCD and I got to get it out of there. Now, if you are a... but I still want it to be looking like this is a different value over here, right? We don't want it to all look the same because then you won't see the variation. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Are you guys hanging in there? Yes. Hi, is everybody doing? Tamara Davis, how are you? Are layers what really make it pop? Yes, definitely. Layers really make it pop. That makes a big difference. I know I'm probably like late to the game, but layers really make it pop. It really makes a big difference in the whole thing. Yes, yes, and yes. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope everybody's doing well. I would say so. Okay, you guys are talking to each other in the comments. Yes, mixing skin tones is always fun. And that was partly sarcastic. Yes, I know. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Yeah, skin tones, no. They're not, it's not always fun, but you you get a nice result, right? Now, if you can see that, right, my brush is starting to drag, right? My brush is starting to drag. It's looking crazy. And you can see that hard line right there. Now, before it starts to dry, I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to scrub, scrub, scrub. And there you go. I just loosened up that hard edge. And you can actually turn around and wipe it out. Wipe it out. Right? You can actually turn around and wipe this out. Same thing with this. This is trying to get like a hard edge to it too. Like, no, don't do it to me. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not doing it. Not today, bro. Okay, I like things to be smooth. If you happen to be a impressionist artist, this will be just fine for you because you can just slap the colors in patches, smooth it out just a little bit, and keep it moving. Now, for me, I like things to be realistic and smooth. So, any patches will drive me absolutely insane and cause me to have several breakdowns. So, is anybody feeling the same in the comments? Is anybody feeling the same in the comments? Alright, now, like I said before, the good thing about skin acrylics is that you can always paint over them if they start bugging out. Start doing extra. So, here's where I'm going to get into my kind of sort of darker skin tone. Kind of sort of. Right? And because that's what I want my shadow. That's why we mixed up that shadow. Remember, guys? We mixed up that shadow because it's very important. Now, excuse me. I'm sorry. If you guys don't know, the bone structure of the face is pretty much, there is, you know, the brow bone right above the eye, and then you have your big eye socket, and you have your nose, and your nose is going to have, you know, it's going to have this big indent right here by the eyeball, the eye socket. And with him, he has, so I'm going to add my shadow in here. This is a dark color. Don't get scared. You should never get scared. Now remember, your shadows need to be dark enough and your lights need to be light enough. I cannot stress that enough because those two things go hand in hand. You can't do one thing without the other. Your shadows need to be dark enough and your lights need to be bright enough. Let's say it together. Your shadows need to be dark enough and your lights need to be bright enough. Don't be afraid to get in there. Even if you happen to be doing like a commission or something like that, and you're doing a commission for like a you know, a darker, a lighter person, right? Okay, he has a little bit of dark right here, so I'm just filling it in, chatting with you as I do it. If you happen to be doing this for a let's say a Caucasian person, Asian person, whatever it is, right? You happen to be doing it for that, then you would still want to make sure that your lights are light enough. And I'm going to bring this value. I'm actually going to smooth this value out because remember what I said, I don't like hard lines. So I'm actually doing my best to kind of smooth this out. I don't like all this extra. You leave all that extra on there, it's going to turn really dark and weird. Okay? Even if you happen to be doing something, like I said, say for a Caucasian person, you would still want to make sure that your lights are light enough and your darks are dark enough. Alright, actually in here, Okay, I'm washing off my brush. Washing off my brush. And I'm actually smoothing out that value. Why? Because I hate it. You know, I don't like harsh lines. It looks ridiculous. I can't. Alright, I'm going to bring some of this dark, right up under that lower eye piece. Whatever you want to call it. Lower eye parts. I'm actually taking this value and I'm actually smoothing it out. Once again, remember what I said, I don't like harsh lines. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. And you actually want to make sure that you guys are going in the direction of how your person looks. You need to be going in the direction of that. Yeah? Alrighty then. Now, you got to remember there's different temperatures and there is different values. There is on this side of his face, that's the side that is facing the light. So the shadow over there is going to be brighter than the shadow on his left side of his face. So that's why this value over here is going to be darker, and I'm going to lighten up the shadow for the right side of his face. So you got to look out for that as you go through your journey in portrait painting. You got to look out for those different temperatures and different areas and all those blah 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 blase, right? Now under this, like I said, under this lower eyelid, it is a darker value. So I'm actually going to add I was like, yeah, girl, I'm about to teach this thing real quick, and I forgot how long portraits take. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so happy you guys are hanging in there, though. Like, you are superstars. You get the gold star for hanging in there. Like, oh, my God. Like, I know this is a small portrait, and it's taking forever, right? But we want to make sure it looks good. I want to make sure it looks right for you guys, so you're not feeling some type of way, you know? All right, so I washed off my brush. I actually need something lighter. Something lighter for here. So I'm actually going to get something lighter right here. Remember to use your brush in the direction that the face is actually going. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys are doing that. You can always go on top here. And remember, acrylics are dark to light, so since they are dark to light, you can always add your what's the names on top. And he has a highlight going down his nose. So I'm going to add some straight up. This is the only time you should be adding straight up whites and kind of jumping around. It's the only time you should be adding straight up white, or, and in this case, I'm using titanium buff. Yeah? When I say titanium buff, I mean unbleached titanium. Unbleached titanium. Now remember, this part of your face, right? It has... Alright, let me put a little bit over here. Be careful with this highlight. You don't want to contaminate the highlight, so try to go like around it when you're blending it out. Try not to go straight up on it. Okay? Like I was saying, you only want to add straight up white and stuff like that, especially with African American skin tones. That's the only time you want to add straight up white is when you're doing like extreme highlights, like I said, like the nose and things like that. You definitely do not want to add that later on, because any other time than that, because that can be weird. Just don't do it to yourself. All right, but he's coming together. Now, around the nose always has a really dark value, so I'm going to get into my really dark. And I'm actually going to go over that, under that bridge. See right there. This is always going to be darker, so think about that, guys. That's always going to be darker. Why? Because why? I used to have a client who used to be like, why? Why? Because your in your nose is in shadow, so I'm gonna blend that out. You have somewhat of a cast shadow in your nose. Somewhat of a cast shadow. Again, you should be blending as you go with acrylics. Blend as you go. Blend as you go. Sing the song while you're painting. Blend as you go. Blend as you go. Why? Because acrylics will have a breakdown how you pulling out your hair and wondering why I just did that. Why did it do it? Why? All right, see? Now, in his cheekbone area, but again, refer to your whatever you call it, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah? Refer to your reference photo so that you know what's going on, okay? Refer to it. Cheekbones. Now, I'm going to blend that out, and I'm going to go to the other side of the other cheekbone. And I'm going down. If you blend things out, it'll make your life a whole lot easier, and you won't be having a breakdown. I'm telling you that right now. Now, on the other side here, right? We have this whole side right here seems to be it's very warm. Why? Because it's highlighted by the sun. So even though I'm going to actually let me go up for you guys. This is highlighted by the sun. So, and this is right up in his eye. You want to go in that same indent, the same direction as a nose would go, right? We want that. Now, if you're a newbie and you're just beginning, you want to actually be making sure that you are leaving out every inch where you're going to paint in before you actually paint in it. But that way you don't get lost. You feel what I'm saying? Anybody know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anybody know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody know what I'm saying. Okay, so he has an extreme highlight that seems to be over here. So I'm gonna get like some yellow, Naples yellow, and I'm actually going to put that right here. He has an extreme highlight here. So right now, our ancestor in the light of our life is looking like an alien, but that's okay. I'm just going back on the top and reinforcing this highlight right here. Because as you can see, because it's acrylic, it actually got darker. Now you guys know why it takes me 50 hours to do a portrait. Now imagine doing this on a 30 by 40. I'll be here till next month. Okay? And I'm going back in with this right here, because that, again, don't be afraid to go dark. Where there's a dark, there's a light. Come to the light. Come to the light. And I'm blending it out. Okay? Same thing here. This actually needs, I actually need this to be, okay, so I need something darker here. Alright, so I need something darker here, so I'm going to add that dark in. To specify specificity that this nostril is where I want it to be. Alright, so let's blend that out. I'm just taking the extra and I'm blending it out. Blend it, blend it, blend it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah? Because remember, we want this to be a shadow. And this right here is the bridge of Mr. King's nose. Right? So now he's coming together, guys. He's coming together. Would you guys like to put in the hair? What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. Let's put in the hair. Oh, wait a minute. Let me put in this highlight on his cheek, and then we'll put in hair. That way we can try to speed it up a little bit. Let's put that highlight in on the cheek. Again, I got my Naples yellow. A little bit of unbleached titanium. Ooh. Okay. And I'm going to apply this lighter piece right here. Because the whole side of his face right here is all light. It's all light. Why? Because he is the sun and the moon and the stars. So of course that side is all light. Why not? This is all light. I'm going to reinforce this highlight again. Right in there. Don't be afraid to layer. On a portrait, you should have a minimum, and I do mean a minimum, of 4 to 5 layers, especially if you're using acrylic. If you're using oil, you could probably get away with 2 to 3 layers. But for acrylic, you should have at the minimum, especially when you're first beginning, first trying to figure things out, you should have a minimum of at least 5 layers. So don't be afraid to keep layering. Keep slapping it on. I mean, because even the professional paints, you know. Now, I'm actually taking, while this stuff is still kind of wetty wet, I'm taking it and I'm blending this out. Okay? Without removing my shadow, but I'm still kind of blending that area out. Where I put my shadow. Alrighty then. That's looking lovely. What do you guys think down in the comments? You loving it? Are you loving it? Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of, I feel like I need burnt sienna. Yes, thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. Y'all hanging in there. Y'all hanging in there like, I'm trying to get this tutorial today, baby. Alright, he got a little bit of warmth right here. So I'm going to put that in. Yeah. As well as, nah, that's about it. He got a little bit of warmth right there. So I'm putting that in. Okay. And put things in as you see it. He got a little bit of warmth here underneath his eyes. So I'm putting that in. Turn it around so you guys can see. See, things are looking good now. He's starting to come in. He's looking good. You guys were worried, right? Like, oh, hell no. It's looking crazy. I don't know about this. But you got to hang in there. You got to keep going. We are at the, I don't even know. What is this? This is 2 to 3 hours in, maybe 2 hours in. Yeah. So he has a extreme highlight. He has an extreme highlight right here. Again, this is all because he's at the edge of the sun here. The sun is facing him. So this is where our light source is going to be. Now, you want to blend this. You don't want it to be like a hard edge and looking crazy. Right? So, I washed out my brush. I'm going to dry it off with my towel. And I'm going to go between those two values that look patchy and ridiculous. Right? And I'm going to blend it out, blend it out, blend it out. Right in between there. We're going to blend that out. We're going to make them friends. Yeah? That's the goal. Make them friends. If you feel like you got to reinforce that, then reinforce it. Even if it looks a little patchy, that's okay. As long as you don't have that hard line. Okay? As long as you don't have that hard line. Kind of smoothing out this over here too. Okay? And I want to go underneath the eyes. These lower lids should be a little bit darker than the top lids. Lower lids, again, lower lids meaning the bags around your eyes, which they're not really bags. They're just considered to be lower lids. Should always be a little darker than your top lids. Okay? So I'm basically adding that in right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right? In case you guys are wondering, I am... I'm using my filbert. If you guys are wondering. Okay. Now. He's starting to look good. Huh? What you guys think? You loving it? He's starting to look good. Now, once you get to a certain point, let me move it over for you guys so you can kind of see it. Once you get to a certain point, you could actually start glazing colors on top. And acrylics will kind of sort of make your life a little bit easier. Blend out that value we just put in there though. Blend that out. Blend that out. Blend it out. Blend it out. Alright, now. What was I doing just now? This is a little darker than I wanted it. I'm actually going... Okay, now. The cheekbones, which are these things in between the nose, should always be highlighted. That's a non-negotiable. That should always be highlighted, right? So, and then when you get lower beyond the cheekbones, that is going to be a darker value. Okay? So, on the sides here, I'm spraying my palette again because this thing is drying up on me. Keep spraying, guys, because that thing, them acrylics, they sickening. Acrylics are sickening. Alright? Because acrylics are sickening, you gotta keep spraying here. Alright, so I'm kind of mixing up my mid-tone value because the side of his face, where his cheekbones are, the side of his jaw, is always going to be darker than where his cheekbones are. You get what I'm saying? You guys following me here? And... Alright, guys. I'm trying to hurry up because I gotta take a potty break in a minute. We at the third hour, guys. I think the third hour. Girl gotta pee in a minute. I'm kind of blending that out. Now, if you don't want to add water, you could also add that lighter value right there on top. And blend it right on in. Blending right on in. Yeah. The bottom of your jaw should also be a lot darker than the rest of your face. Now he has a mustache. Take your yellow ochre and your Naples yellow and unbleached titanium and get those highlights back. Remember, you could always go dark to light. Alright, now I'm doing the pee-pee dance. Alright. Now, you guys can have two choices here. Either you guys can wait for me to go to the bathroom, or I can stop the live and come back. What do you guys want to do? Tell me down in the comments. Because I'm doing the pee-pee dance. Yeah, the ugly stage always has me feeling crazy sitting there. Like, blah, 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 blah. Might have faith. Yep. The ugly stage is always like that. Okay, so I'm going to run to the bathroom. You guys talk amongst yourselves. And I'll be back. I will be back. Yes, boo. Don't touch. Get away from here. Juliet, come. Okay, you guys. Woo! I'm back. The baby bladder is back. The baby bladder is back in town. Oh my god. It was absolute insanity. Matter of fact, let me take this thing out of the charger. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there. For those of you that hung in there for the baby bladder action. I really had to go. So badly. Okay? Yeah. And now I am back. And ready to roll. Thanks for you guys that actually hung in there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so moving on. Where are we at? Okay, so he has something dark underneath of his chin. Right? Underneath the lips are always going to be darker than any place else. So remember that. What is it saying? Low battery? Really? Already? Yep. So we've been at it an hour and something minutes, guys. I'm going to take this dark right up under here. Under the lips. And he has quite a lot of right here. Let me see what's going on. He has a highlight right there on his chin. Right here on the chin is a highlight. Matter of fact, this whole thing has a highlight in it. Including up here. whole thing has a highlight. Whole thing has a highlight. Alright, has a highlight, has a highlight. I'll put my highlight over here. I'm going to blend it out in a minute. And I'm actually blending it out with this darker area underneath here, which is going to end up inadvertently giving me a another value altogether, because it's going to mix in with that lighter, you know. Now, over here is all in shadow. So this is going to be my darker right here, right? That's going to give the illusion it's going to give you quite of an illusion as if he is turning his head, yeah? And I'm going to drag that value all the way up here. Because remember, where the jaw ends and the shirt begins, that's going to start a little shadow down there, right? That's gonna start my shadow. Alright. And let me blend it out. Blend it out. Once you blend it out, it would actually do a little bit of a glaze right there, which will cause, right? And we still want to put that shadow over here. I'm still reinforcing those dark parts of up in here. Actually has a little bit more of, yeah, there we go. Right? There's a little bit more. Alright, and I'm gonna add a little bit of unbleached titanium, because right here has a little bit of a highlight. Keep blending as you go, guys. Keep blending as you go. Keep blending as you go. I'm going up this way now. Remember, you want to highlight those cheekbones. Now this is trying to dry up on me. So I might have to actually go ahead and get some water. And get this together. Get them together. Yeah? Now, when you do hair, like for the beard and things like that, it's not just straight black, like throw black on top of here, put the whiskers on. What you want to do is you want to do a very thin coat of whatever the skin tone is so that you can see the skin tone underneath. So I'm actually going to run a very thin coat here, right? And this is just going to be really watered down. I don't even care what that looks like. I just want to get some sort of value here. So that I can apply. I can put his beard in, you know, and our man will be, Mr. King will be looking wild. Wild, fancy, and free. So you want to have some type of color underneath there. You shouldn't just be throwing like the beard on top and, you know, calling it a day. It should be something there. Definitely should be something there. And yeah, it's like an awesome kind of, and I actually should switch brushes right now because we're going to be getting into a little bit more detail. And again, I'm reinforcing this highlight right here. Putting in little nuances of the highlights. Of the highlight. Now, I want to jump over to the hair because the face is kind of like wearing me out right now. So let me jump over into the hair. I'm going to get like a simple bristle brush, right? Why do you want a bristle brush? A bristle brush is something like, like one of them brushes you get from the variety pack in Michael's, like a simple bristle brush, just like this, okay? And it has like those weird, shiny looking hog hair, whatever type of thing going on. What is going on? What is going on? So let me show you guys again. Hopefully, you can see it. So it has the bristle hair brush. And this is something you can get at any craft store. It should be available in those variety packs. They're like really cheap. And it'll give you like a bristly whatever, right? Because that's really what you want. Is you want that wild bristly hair effect. Now, let me put my phone on the charger again. Yeah. So I can make sure we're good to go. So we don't have any interruptions. Now I'm gonna wet this bristle brush. What you need to be careful with the bristle brush is that they get extremely wet. They hold a lot of water, right? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a mid-tone kind of dark color And remember, we already mixed the dark color. And I'm going to start blocking in his hair. Okay, I'm going to block that hair in. And here we go with the mid-tone. I'm going to get a little burnt sienna. Remember what we said to get a monochromatic black, you want to mix ultramarine blue, or you could do a phthalo blue, and that will give you a dark black. His hair is really dark, but it has highlights to it, so you got to think about that when you're kind of blocking these things in, right? You want to definitely think about that. Okay, so I think I got probably enough for my brush. I'm happy with that. Happy with that value. So let's block in some hair. Again, he looks patchy, he looks weird, but you know, that's okay. That is quite okay. It's okay with me. Now, what you want to do is you want to get enough on your brush so that you could kind of go in a tapping motion, right? Because we want to give the indication of African American hair. African American hair is not straight hair. It has a kink / coarseness to it. And because of that, you're going to get those little tight curls, those little tight kinks to it, okay? Let me turn this around. I want to make sure you guys can see it. Because this is an important part. We have a little bit of a delay too, so I'm going to get it in the shot here. So you can see the motion of the brush. Okay, so I am tapping. Tap, 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 tap. You see how I get those motions? This brush is also good for leaves, trees, shrubbery, things of that nature. I'm brushing, brushing, brushing. I am tapping, tapping, tapping. Tap it, tap it, tap it. Love it, love it, love it. This is a real dark value. It's a good value to kind of start out with. Kind of feel good about. And you want to get some of that value right up into your skin tone so that you feel like you kind of blend it in here, right? So I'm tapping here. This is going to give the illusion of African American hair. He had a short haircut, so you want to be real precise and real careful with the way you're doing things. And look at that. That is looking absolutely wonderful already. Yeah? So now let's move along here. Other side of the head, continue to tap here. Tap that in. We got a kink going. Okay, at the end here, you want to just kind of take your brush and go downward because... And make sure at the same time you're looking at your reference to see little nuances of things, like how high the hair is and things like that, right? Now we're tapping. Tap it in. Tap it in. Make sure you get all of those white pieces of that canvas. Get that all out of the way. If you happen to color outside of the line, so to speak, You can always paint over that because that's the beauty of acrylics. Okay? Look at that. Hair's glistening. Glistening and glossing. Glistening and glossing, yeah? Now you see, because I did that tapping motion, that tapping motion did a lot for me. It gave me the illusion of kinky little curls and other activities, yeah? Now, leave that, let it dry, let it marinate for a minute, and you should be good to go. Now, for this next step, I want to put in his beard. Now, what am I going to use for the beard? Alright, I got this little tiny thing here. I got this little tiny thing here. Now, I had a little bit of a beard right here, now that I think about it. So you want to go ahead and tap some of that in as well. Because I still have this value on my brush, so I'm going to lightly tap, tap, tap. Lightly tap, tap, tap. That's okay. You may have to go back in. And that beard actually went right up into the hairline. Now, I have my water brush, right? And because I can't find my other brush, so I'm going to use my water brush. Now, my water brush, I'm going to use that to actually put in the hairs. And I'm still going into that dark mixture of burnt umber, ultramarine blue. And I am going to, as you can see, I'm using a regular water brush. You can pick this up at any craft store. You should be able to. Right? To get me some fine details. And I'm going to start putting my strokes in for the beard, right? So I'm just stroking in a downward kind of motion. And you could always feel free to kind of go back in when you need to. You're going to end up having to go back in anyway. You're definitely going to end up having to go back in anyway. And pay attention to how his beard is actually wrapping around his mouth. That's important. So pay attention to that. Again, you can always adjust these things as you move along. Let's see, right here underneath his nose. Let me actually put some of this water out. I need to have a dark value under there, so. Because that's what it looks like in the reference photo, is that it is a quite a dark value in there. Let's work on his suit. I'm kind of happy with that. I pretty much, oh, you know what? While I have this brush out, let's kind of work on his eyebrows. That would be nice, right? Work on the eyebrow. Now you want to do they were pretty thick. They're pretty thick eyebrows. So you will want to go towards the thick, bushy kind, yeah? And this is going to be pretty dark, so you will want to add burnt sienna, burnt umber, stuff like that. And actually, I'm going to try and get in to a little bit of my black, because I need this to be a lot darker. I need this to be darker. See, there we go. See how much darker that is, huh? Kind of had like a bushy thing going, so we still want to kind of like smooth out the tops of there. And this eyebrow here kind of starts over there and lands here. You guys with me? Make sure you guys get like a thin brush to kind of do this with. I'm just reinforcing this beard right here. It looks really dark, yeah? It looks so dumb. Okay. That's the only time something's gonna be really dark, like if it's the hair and the eyebrows and stuff like that. That's the only time things are gonna be really dark. Now I'm gonna take this right here and I'm gonna smooth out the edges of the hair. Because I want the edges of the hair to kind of blend in. Yes? So I'm kind of just blending out the hairline just to make it look more as one. And he's starting to come in, guys, yeah? He's starting to look wonderful. Who would have known? Some people think, let me talk to you guys for a minute. Some people think that, I can't make a difference. There's nothing I can do in this world. I'm all alone. I'm only one person. What I say doesn't count. But that's not true. Think of him, for instance. He was one person, one man. And one man set the world on fire and changed everything, just by speaking out and holding steadfast to your beliefs and your ideals, and not giving up even when things get hard and when people are doing things that you feel is inappropriate or trying to hurt you. Still get up, keep going, and keep doing what you need to do. So he did all that. He should be a great example for you guys to know that. If you're just tuning in, guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. This is while I'm doing this acrylic portrait tutorial. Remember that I do have a Patreon, which is for exclusive content where I do full-length tutorials only on oils and harder things that you guys probably will not see and have access to on my YouTube channel, as well as you get access to my YouTube videos before everybody else. Plus giveaways, free gifts, free prints, 20% off in my website, or commissions, whatever you want to do. And that's that. So think about becoming a patron. It would be really nice. It's a great way to support my channel. Yay! Super exciting, right, guys? All right, now, also, I would love for you guys to comment below and let me know what type of content you would like to see going forward, especially for Black History Month series. It's going to be a series all month long. I'm going to be showcasing different people. All right, now, let's move on to his lips, okay? We're going to move on to the lip area. Oh, you know what? No. I want to block in his, I got my handy dandy. I'm going to get my angle brush out, my 3/8 angle brush. I am going to, he has like a brownish, greenish type of, I don't know, like suit on or something. So I'm going to get a little bit of yellow ochre and kind of mix that in with my brown. so I can get kind of the hue that I need. And let's see how that goes. Yeah, we're gonna fill his suit in. Okay, and again, this is the blocking in stage, so I wouldn't get too excited about that. You're gonna do darks to light. I like the angle brush because the angle brush will give me precision when it has to do with his suit. It will give me the precision I need to go down the lapel. As you guys probably know, we're not gonna be able to finish all of this tonight. So I'll probably have to come back tomorrow to finish part 2 for you guys. And that'll be the last stage of it, pretty much. That'll be the last stages of it. Yes, indeed. Alright. Now we gotta signify that this thing is kind of like in the light here. And you know what? I probably should have just did a darker color because I could always do that lighter color on top. Remember, if you feel like you have too much on your brush, just wipe it off with a paper towel. Keep it moving. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. Now, as his suit and the lapel goes up into his neck area, I don't know. I guess I can get away with that. It seems like it's just all light on top of light. So I think I could kind of sort of get away with it without messing up anything. Be careful because the chin area is right here. So try to be careful with that. I'm going to just use the chisel. Okay, that's looking pretty good. What you guys think? It's looking pretty good. Almost at the finish line, but we're not, right? Not really. So I get some nice precision. Precision. This is kind of like a brown. I'm kind of mixing like a brownish color as we go. You want to have different values when you first laying things down so that you can differentiate between body parts, limbs, things like that, so you know where things kind of go. I know right here is supposed to be like his arm. So I'm making sure now where these different values meet in between his collar. Those values are pretty much the same now that I think about it. I'm actually going to combine this down here because I didn't even think that it goes. Okay, so I bring that over. All right, now with this, I'm going to add a little bit of a darker value right here. Why? Because I need to differentiate between where his collar is, where it ends and where it begins. Right? Okay. That's what we're doing here. Now, you know, a fun trick, right? If you can't figure out how to make a gray, or you only got like blue on your palette, if you actually have titanium white, strictly titanium white, with a smidge of blue in it, that will actually give you a gray, whether believe it or not, because blue is actually a gray. Get what I mean? So what I'm gonna do for his shirt, because he has like a white shirt on, but I'm still gonna add my black in there. I'm not gonna forget about that. I'm gonna add a little bit of black, blue, and white. Black, blue, and white, and that will give me a gray, right? And then I can go ahead and put the collar in his shirt. You want to do this carefully. Move carefully here. Again, if you feel like things are too white, too blue, your values are too dark, don't fret about it. Don't have a breakdown. It's not a big deal. Acrylics are great because you can go back on top of them and put something else in. It's not the end of the world. It really isn't. It's not like a drama session. So I'm going to worry about, okay, he has a little bit of white right here in the back of his neck. And that's the collar of his shirt. So I'm actually going to put that in. I like to kind of jump around when I'm doing portraits so I don't get bored. And I'll finish doing it to the end. Now, you guys know what the difference is between a good portrait artist and a bad one, right? A good portrait artist takes their time, makes mistakes, learns from the mistakes, does lots of studying, and is open to criticism, and cares about their craft, you know? The other type, they are not worried about that. They are worried about just getting to the end product. You gotta think about the product as a whole. You gotta think about it like You know, you got to think about the product as a whole. Like, okay, what do I need to do here? Like, how does my stuff look? Does it look okay? You know, am I doing well? You should always be improving. You should always be making strides to improve, right? Okay, I switch back to my brush now. This right here, the back of his shirt, right? Well, his bring it down a little bit. The back of his suit, yeah. The back of his suit is really dark. This whole section right here is extremely dark, yeah? So you want to make sure you add a little bit more ultramarine to this mixture. Add the ultramarine in. Oh man, I got like one person watching right now. Like, if you still watching, you hanging in there, you are a trooper. You are awesome. Thank you so much. I know it's a lot, but unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles with acrylics and with doing portraits. That's the way things are. Nothing else you can do. Nothing else you can do, buddy. Alright, I need this to be kind of darker, so I'm actually going to go in and add that darker. Right? Why? Because I need that to be darker. Alright. And he's looking good. Now, I'm going to get into some black. Because I actually need this to be a lot darker than that. So I kind of got like a darker value right here. I'm actually going to darken this up. Because this side of alright, now let's go to back here. This is his back. Remember, we're always going dark to light. So since we're going dark to light, it's okay if you want to block in this whole thing with this dark value. I'm actually gonna add straight up black back there. Well, not straight up black. Of course, it's gonna mix in a little bit. Why? Because in the back of your shoulder back there, that is gonna be a lot darker. If you feel like your brush is dragging, just pick up some water and put it on there. Pick up your brush. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Now you want to go in the direction that the suit is going. If his arm is going downward, you want to go downward. Right? That's what we want. I'm going to just darken up this little value right there. This, I'm actually going to add a little yellow ochre to that. To the stuff that I already have on my brush. Because the front of his suit is very much so light. Very light. And it is looking absolutely great. And listen, I'm really happy with it. I'm really, like, I'm surprised, for real. Because I'm like, oh no. Good Lord, acrylics. Good Lord, acrylics. I'm just adding more yellow ochre right here. Okay, I just got real buck wild just now. And you want to sweep it around as you, well, if you're doing the oval presentation here, you want to sweep this around. And I'm going to go, it's in a sweeping motion upward to signify that his shirt or the light is bouncing off his suit. Yeah? Yes, yes, and yes. All right, now let me get into a little burnt sienna because I need to actually go ahead and move on to the back of his neck. He has a little part right here. Look, it's like a cute little piece of fat. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like a cute little piece of fat, like right here, that is actually leaning on the back of his shirt. Who would have known, right? Who would have known? It was a little piece of fat. Who would have known? Okay. Alright, now a lot of this looks like a hot mess, but again, you have to do layers if you want acrylics to look properly. Layers are crucial, and that's where a lot of people don't make it to the end. It's like, you know, acrylics are a test of endurance. If you do not put several layers, you will be ultimately a frustrated person, and you will feel like, okay, I'm not getting the value I want, so like what's the point type of thing, you know what I'm saying? So then you'll get frustrated and be like, oh, okay, I don't even see the point to that. And you'll give up, and then you'll be upset with yourself and everybody else. Like, okay, so why my paintings are not coming out right, or why things aren't looking properly, or whatever type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you start doubting your skills, doubting your awesomeness, and everything becomes an issue. I'm actually just I'm just fiddling around, putting something in the eye, because he has creases in his eyes. He has creases in the eye. Right? Okay. One thing I can say about it is don't give up. Keep fighting the good fight until you make it to the end, pretty much. Now I'm just roughly blocking in his ear. I've already put things in formation. Put it in formation. Yeah? Sorry, you guys didn't get to see the ear. Okay? Now I'm just glazing on top with some of this value. And actually, over here needs to be a lot darker. So I'm actually going to get into my darker tone. Over here needs to be darker. Why? Because you need to signify that the head is at a tilt, pretty much. So that's why that side needs to be darker. Alright, I'm wiping off my brush. I'm going to get into I wet it a little bit. Now I'm going into those seams where those different values were. At this point, I'm just glazing. Glazing is very thin coats of a paint, right? That's when you get into the very thin coats of paint, when you start to actually glaze things over. And I'm gonna go in back in. My colors are starting to get muddy, so we're gonna end this pretty soon, guys. And then I'm gonna come back tomorrow, probably the same time, and do part 2 for you guys. Okay, that's where the sun goes. I warmed that up with a little bit of yellow ochre. And now he's looking more 3D, yeah? Now, he actually has a little bit of, he actually has a little bit of light right here. And even though it's not going to be as light as it is over there, it's still going to be somewhat light. Yes, indeed. Do 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 do. I don't know what. I don't. How the hell do you get allergies in the wintertime? I don't know. Who knows? Inquiring minds need to know. I need. See, now we're starting to get into these goldeny brown, lovely type of mixtures here. Yeah? How does it happen? Do 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 do. All right, guys. It's looking pretty good. Yeah. Let me move it up a little bit so you can really get the full effect. We've done quite a bit of work here. We did quite a bit of work. We're probably about 2 to 3 hours in at this point. Let me check. Hold on. Let me move this over a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we're about 2 to 3 hours in at this point. And I'm going to stop the live. I thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It was a very long session. Give yourselves a clap. Yes, and we made it this far. I mean, at some point, I would say when you're painting, especially portraits, when you go 2, 3, 4 hours and you've been painting such a long time, then things start to look weird at that point, and there's not much else you can do. So I would suggest that you stop, take a break, maybe leave it for a day, then go back, and then you'll see it with fresh eyes, see what mistakes you may have made, maybe you didn't make any, and you can go back into it and complete your project after that point. Because after 3 or 4 hours, your brain is like, hello, everything's looking the same, so no. And that's where I'm at in the process at this point. So we're going to stop. And I'm going to continue this tomorrow. We're going to do part 2. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, part 2, 5 p.m. I'm going to meet you here. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. I'm so thankful that you guys could tune in. And I will definitely catch you guys. I will definitely catch you guys on the next one. Well, we was doing like, what, 196 minutes? That's what it says. So that's like, that's well over. That's 3 hours, about 3 hours. Okay, guys. So.